1973 was the year when I first started reading comic books, and only for the back half of the year. I think I can be forgiven for that, given that I was only 6 years old. For the purposes of this survey, however, I've taken into account the entire output for the year, not just those books that I could have read or actually read at the time. Here, then, are my completely subjective selections for the 5 best comics published in 1973. The story in Amazing Spider-Man number 121 until years later when it was reprinted in Marvel Tales, and I knew by that point what it contained, but it still blew my socks off. This one has rightly been hailed by some as being the moment when the Silver Age of comics transitioned into the Bronze Age, and the death of Gwen Stacy in this issue, spoilers, represents a loss of innocence and a turn towards darker and more emotionally complex material. All I can tell you is that I loved it. The intensity, the tragedy, even writer Jerry Conway keeping the story title secret until the final page, all of it works magnificently. I first read the Joker's 5-Way Revenge in a later Batman digest, I think, but it first saw print in the pages of Batman number 251. This was right at the tail end of the Denny O'Neil-Neil Adams collaboration that had brought back a sense of menace and mystery to the Batman, now always referred to with a "the" before his name. And here they perform the same overhaul for the Joker, transforming him from the colorful but harmless criminal he'd been for the past 2 decades, back into the homicidal lunatic that he was when he first showed up. Any Adams Batman story in this era was a cause for celebration, but this one raised the bar. I first read Swamp Thing number 7 years later when it was reprinted in the Saga of the Swamp Thing dollar comics. Swamp Thing was really a series that shouldn't have worked, and yet by combining the talents of Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson, that original cool one-off mystery tale and House of Secrets was transitioned into an open-ended series. This particular issue was notable in that it squarely positioned the book within the nascent DC universe, and Wrightson depicted a version of the Batman that borrowed from the Neil Adams approach and may even have done him one better. This one is a totally self-indulgent pick, but hey, it's my video, I get to choose. There was no comic book that I loved more as a young reader than Flash number 225. Part of it is that I missed it at first, only eventually finding it several months later as the middle book in one of those supermarket 3-bags. And what a chill of pure electricity raced down my spine when I separated those outer books and discovered the prize that lay in the center. This was a rare book-length epic, guest starring Green Lantern and featuring the always compelling villainy of Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash, as well as an alien Green Lantern from the 25th century. Comics like this one are the reason why I'm still reading after all these years. Jack Kirby's grand Fourth World experiment had run its course, and its final survivor reached the end of the road with Mr. Miracle number 18. But Kirby used the opportunity not only to marry off his leads Scott-Free and Big Barda, but also to bring a small army of the characters he'd introduced across those titles back for one final bow, one climactic statement on the war between New Genesis and Apocalypse. Kirby would get other later opportunities to revisit these characters and themes again, but by that point too much time had gone by and the moment had passed. So this is the only genuine, true ending that the Fourth World Saga ever got. If you were a reader in 1973, I'm sure your picks are different than mine. Feel free to list some in the comments below. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll be back at some point with the 5 best comics of 1974. I'm Tom Brevoort. See you later.